We live. What's going on, folks? Come on in, have a seat. Y'all know the rules. Let me set the rules. Let's get the room. Let's get the room right. Y'all know the rules. Y'all know the rules. We all here for a educated time. Absolutely educated time, but absolutely a great time while having an educated time. You know what I'm saying? You know how we do things around here. I got some Uncle Nears, got some Coke Zero. That's not a promotion, by the way, but mm, we got to get our minds right. We got to get things flowing in the right direction, right? And as I always tell y'all, you can't trust a person if you don't really know their vices, right? So that's what I'm sipping on tonight. And make sure my phone's on silent. All right. Got a light one. Get it right. Having an Olivia stick tonight. Stick of choice. Let's see what's going on. We got some new folks in Dalton. What's going on, baby? What's happening, baby? What you sipping on tonight, Dalton? I know you ain't at the office tonight. What we sipping on tonight? Mm, okay. David, what's happening? David, you new around here? Well, welcome. Welcome, my brother. All right. Mm. Speaking of my brother, I got my real brother coming in tonight to come see me with his newborn child. So been kind of preparing the house for that like a maniac, on top of other chores and obligations. Who else we got in here tonight? Muhammad, okay. Yeah, you on H2O tonight? All right, Dawson. That's cool, brother. That's cool. All right. David, what you sipping on, man? Muhammad, what you sipping on, brother? I know I can't be the only sober one this evening. We're gonna have a great guest this evening. Bring him up on a second. Just want to make sure I get the room right and warm and cozy for him. What's this that, David? Cuba Libre Rum and Coke. That's my guy right there. Like you. That's what I'm talking about. That's my kind of guy right there. He dress up his drinks. I like that. Cortez, what's happening, brother? Fresh 75. Ooh. Oh, French 75. My bad. Okay, you on that fancy stuff. You probably got a little flute, glass and everything. Muhammad got the ginger ale. Man, okay, that's fair. Okay. Working on your sobriety. I'm not mad at that, Muhammad. I'm not mad at that. Mm. So, all right, so let's proceed with the evening. Now that we're warm in here, we all toasty in here. We all friends now. We all chummy now. So I'm gonna bring on the guest this evening. You know, this is a brother that I've been following for a minute. We've been Facebook friends for a minute, and as every guest I bring on, I try to make sure that I'm bringing on qualified people, not only technically qualified, but just qualified in aptitude. These are people who persevere, who are relentless, who are resilient, and who have all the characteristics that I believe your mentors and people you should, just follow and watch and be inspired by in this industry should possess to help you continue to excel, to either break into this field of cloud tech or excel from your junior levels to mid to senior levels in cloud tech. So yeah, I've been watching this brother for a while. Believe he's former military. He does a lot of work with veterans, which I admire. And for those of you who've been following me for a while, I got a super soft heart for our veterans. I didn't serve myself. However, I got family who served. I've worked with the feds myself. And every time I'm doing my type of boot camps, what have you, I always offer special deals specifically for veterans. That's those who have served as well as those who are actively serving. Mm. And I think y'all have I think y'all have some of the best veterans have some of the best basic skill sets to excel in this field. You know how to take orders. You know how to take ownership of mission. You know how to work on a team. You know how to be professional and follow through. And you're relentless. But More about that later. Anyway, been following Luis, doing talking to these things, talking to veterans. That's really caught my eye. Him talking to veterans about tech. And then one of the cool things I see him do often was post job opportunities and availabilities for those trying to break into their role. And that's super admirable. You don't see, I'm gonna be honest, I follow quite a few people in this industry. You don't see that at all on public pages. Post people posting job. They might post jobs that they have internally for organization they work for, but rarely are they posting just opportunities that come across in the open market. On their public pages. Um, usually that people like to keep those things behind doors, which I understand. But he's willingly always sharing, and I know he's still growing his tech career. But reminds me a lot of myself because it's like he's doing it as he's growing. He's growing himself and he's exposing others to the opportunity and helping them get their opportunities in this field as well, which is incredible, man. Like it's really beautiful to see. So, I see his posts from time to time and I'm always just charmed by it. Like, I'm like, okay, this guy's cooking. And it's just of recently, maybe this year, he's just been cooking more and more as far as his involvement, talking about his certs he's passed. I know he just got the 900 and he's working on some other Azure certs. So I just, hard workers see other hard workers. Grinders and hustlers respect other grinders and hustlers. And Luis is one of them. So without further ado, we're gonna bring on the one. Hold on. First off, if you're ready for the guest, if you're ready for Luis, let me see some ones in the chat. I got to see some number ones in the chat. Let's get it cooking. We got a primer for our guy, man. We're gonna bring him in the right way. While we're still sober. Okay, we're gonna bring him in the right. All right. So let me see some ones in the chat. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. 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 Oh, I think y'all ready. I think y'all might be ready. Let's go, baby. All right, Luis, coming to the stage, the one and only Luis, and I hope I'm saying the name right, brother. Let's go. There you
Nah,
go.
man. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for having me.
Man, it's a pleasure having you, man. You are the joy of this evening, brother. Thank you for your patience. All right. I know I
Hey, man.
always
No,
start.
always, always.
Hey,
Hey, man.
you
That's
know,
why. That's why I
hey,
told you I jumped on early to make sure all my stuff was good because we can't talk about being in tech and then your audio's off, your camera's off. Like it's one of those things where like you have to make sure that everything is right, man. So you're good, man. You're good.
man, that couldn't be so further from the truth. Absolutely. So,
Exactly.
so I'm saying it right, Luis, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, listen. Ever since I was a kid, I've had Louis, Luis. However you can say it, man. I'll work with it because like
Yeah,
it's
as
just
long
one
as
of those
the
things
L is
where
there, right?
yes, man. Yeah, you're right. You're good.
So,
Some people
so
call me Sal. It's all good, man. I'll take it for whatever it
he
is.
says,
So you're
"Call me."
good. Yeah.
All right. All right. So I want to start for starters. So tell the people a little bit about, what is it that you do in tech and kind of, yeah, because I want them to kind of know
Yeah.
who they're listening to and why they're listening to you. And then we're going to start with the format, but go ahead.
So yeah, no, you hit it right on the head, man. I was in the military for about 9 years. I did
Mm,
infantry guy. So I was an infantry guy. Like I was a grunt, and then I didn't go into tech right after the military. I went into massage therapy. I wanted to help and heal people, and I was doing that for a bit
really?
in Hawaii. I was going to school for business degree. Everything was great. Everything was what I thought was going to be great in my future. And then COVID hit. And when COVID
Mm,
hit, things got real fast and real you had to shift. I looked at that moment, I'm like, how can I get into a field that I could possibly work remote one day? I can be anywhere I want, I can grow. And then I stumbled into tech, man. And from there, I did some schooling out of Hawaii with MSSA, which was Microsoft and Embry Riddle. I did cloud and server admin. Got that up under my belt. After that, I started working
right.
for the DoD, government contracting, which in this conversation we're going to hit heavy on because that's something that I'm very, very adamant about. And then found myself in an
Mhm.
Azure cloud consulting role with CDW. After that, I did a little PM work for a cyber company because in my path of this tech field, I've just kind of wanted to like take small bites of certain things to see if I like it. And
Mm,
then I fell headfirst into a technology solution advising role. I do digital experience for CDW, and I love it. I love it because it's lining me up with solution architects, and it's also you and I both know, man, this tech field it's cloud heavy, it's AI heavy, it's machine learning heavy. So
Hold on, hold on, hold
we're
on, hold on,
all
hold on. Cooking
yeah,
too
yeah,
much,
sorry.
Louise, baby.
Sorry,
You
yeah,
gotta
yeah.
get cooking too much, baby. You
My
giving
bad.
it
My
too much
bad.
too soon. All right, listen. First off, you got an exciting journey. All right.
Yeah,
First off, second off, now it's proven that you're good with your hands. You know what I'm saying? Massage guy. Okay, great.
yeah,
We're gonna definitely talk about that transition
yeah,
because you got people coming from non-traditional tech fields and
exactly.
getting into this arena. So that's living testimony alone. But I want to start here. Let's because we know that what you are. You worked on DoD. You're a proven tech expert. You've been a solutions cloud advisor. Um, so you've been in the and you've been a recruiter, right?
Yeah, I've been
Yep. So
now. Yeah,
so
yeah,
you've
yeah. We'll
worn
talk more. We'll talk
multiple.
heavy about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We gonna have a great time about that one. All right. So let's take it back. Let's take it back. Tell us, so what's your origins as far as where you're from and what when you got to your point of what was your first tech opportunity post being a masseuse? So basically take us from, your origin story up until you joined the military and then why become a masseuse and then talk us into your first role.
So, started off as a kid basically in Chicago. My mom moved us from
You from
Chicago to
Shawtown.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So Calumet
Okay.
City area outside Chicago, when I tell people Calumet City area and they're not known to that area, they're like,
Hmm.
what is that? Then I just say, you know what? Let's blanket it as Chicago and keep it moving. So,
They do the
so
same
we
thing
start,
with Atlanta and Georgia. They think every city in Georgia is supposed to be
yeah,
Atlanta. They think just a blanket state of Georgia is
yeah.
Atlanta. It's like no. But yeah, go
Nah,
ahead.
so there's so many little pockets of it. So we started up there about 7 years old. We moved down to Florida. From Florida, I stayed in
What's your
Gainesville, Florida.
ethnicity? What the ethnicity of your
Colombian. I'm Colombian. I just look like a white boy.
Colombia?
I
I
joke with
know,
people. Yeah,
baby.
yeah. I
Listen,
joke
first
with
off, I
people all
love
the
my
time.
name. I love
Yeah.
that
Oh
name.
man.
A
Listen.
Cartagena, I'm a
Yeah.
Cartagena.
My
Okay.
family has a place now in Cartagena, man, and that's
What?
the goal, man. That is the goal, bro. We'll talk more.
The
We'll
good
talk more about
life.
that.
All right, yeah. I'm
Yes,
sorry. Go
man.
ahead.
No, no, you're good. So, about the time that I was turning 18, I realized I needed to get out of Gainesville, Florida. Gainesville is a great town,
Hmm.
college town, and I'm back here now. But that's just
Hmm.
I joined the military. I joined what I could possibly get out of
To get away from
Florida.
those your
Yeah, yeah,
circumstances, right? Hmm.
exactly. Yeah. So like,
Hmm.
I asked, I was young. I was very young and dumb. I wish I had a mentor at the time, and that's something that I will hit heavy in this conversation is mentorship is so important in any step of life. And
Absolutely.
at the time, I was just like, "Well, how can I just get a job? Can I get something? Can I get out of here?" And they're like, you want infantry?" And I'm like, "Sure, let's do it." And they got me to Georgia. From Georgia, I went to Washington State. After Washington
Mm.
State, I was in Iraq not that long after. When I was in
Oh,
Iraq,
you
they're
were
like,
actually deployed. Wow.
oh, yeah, yeah. I did 2 tours. So I did Iraq.
Two
In
tours?
Iraq, yeah, yeah. So in Iraq, they were like, "Hey, do you want to stay in Washington State or do you want to go somewhere else?" At that time, I had a really good mentor, good leader. My first sergeant, he was like, "Hey, if they offer you Germany, take it." I got to
Really?
Germany. Oh man, I love Germany. Germany was
What
Germany was the
were you
best
at
time of my life.
Frankfurt?
So I was in Grafenwehr. It was
Because
like
I've been to
right
Germany too.
outside.
What
Yeah,
part of
yeah,
Germany
yeah.
were
No,
you
no.
in?
So I was in Grafenwehr, which is like 3 to 4 hours north of Munich. It's 45 minutes outside the Czech Republic, though. So I had the
Okay.
best time of my life in the Czech Republic. And I just got to travel all over Europe. And at that time, like, I was doing a little bit of schooling. I was in between going to criminal justice. I wanted a business degree. I didn't have direction. So after Germany,
Mm.
they were like, "Hey, Kentucky 101 is going to Afghanistan. You want to go?" And I'm like, "You know what? Let's take it." So got to Kentucky, huge cultural shift from Germany, Europe to Tennessee and Kentucky. So if any of our listeners from that area, it is what it is. So we get there. And then from there, I get to Afghanistan. In Afghanistan, they're like, "Hey, um, we got Hawaii." And I'm like, "Okay, send me there." So by the
Yeah.
time I went back, like in the military, I treated it as if in the next 2 to 3 years I can see a new place, why not? So if you are in the
Mm,
military, don't get stuck to the same duty station. Keep moving
mm,
around. See it for what it is. Like t-
mm.
take those opportunities. That's the biggest thing that I always preach. So when I got to
So while
Hawaii,
most people, so what I guess are most of those who are serving, are they just trying to get deployed and then immediately trying to go home afterwards? Is that usually the case?
I mean, it really depends. Like
Hmm.
crappy leadership can kick a soldier, or not
Like
kick a soldier, but bad
deter them.
leadership, yeah, can make a soldier
Yeah,
say, you know what, I want to do my 2 to 4 years, take my take my take my stuff and hit the road.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's one of those things where it really depends. Like I have buddies that I've served with. I have a friend,
Mhm.
he hit up on my Facebook when I posted about this. He retires in 4.5 years. He's like, I want to do cloud. So after this, we're already gonna talk. Because 4 years, I see it as this. 4.5 years from now, he can work on projects. He can get set up with
Mm,
skill bridges. He can get his VA
mm.
set up because that's something that I preach heavily is helping people. I
Yeah, you do.
listen,
You
man.
really do.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
and and even I've seen you like share posts of nonprofits that you've been partnering with,
Yeah,
or that you just want to
yeah,
remote. And again, that's again, most people, most tech influencers or tech teachers in this space, or just tech experts, they don't. That's not a thing that they do. Not
but
saying that
why
they don't
though?
do those things, but it's not a thing that they share and promote on their
Yeah,
pages because it's taken away from the content of what they want you to focus on, which is their expertise in tech.
I can
So
see
when
that.
that's why you stood out to me because I'm like, oh, this dude, like he cares. Like it's deep,
Yeah,
it's a deep care there beyond just because these are not the posts that's gonna go viral. These are not the
no,
posts that's gonna draw a lot of attention, but you're trying to get the awareness out there of the resources available to help people. And that's why I was like, this guy he has a heart. He has a big heart.
that's one of those things that's like when I got out of the military, man, I got out December 2016, Christmas Eve,
Mm,
and I got out in a like that. Like it was
mm,
overnight you were done. Like walk you outside the fed kind of thing. No, the uniform doesn't matter anymore. So at
mm,
that time, I got really lucky to get linked up with a gentleman. His name is Marshall Scott. He is out of Hawaii. He
mhm,
was recruiting for a massage school, and he was one of those guys that is like, hey, I'm gonna set you up. You can start doing school. You'll get a paycheck. Let me help you with the VA. And he helped me with the VA, and after that, it just sparked a fire in me that like he told me, he's like, look, man, I gave you the resources, pay it
mm,
forward to the next guy. Pay it
mm.
forward to the next service member, to the next veteran. He was like, do
Amen.
that, and then something will always come back to you in life. And I took that so aggressive since 2016, and now I look at my calendar, I'm like, man, it's wild to know that I've almost been out of the military as long as I was in, and it's
Mm,
kind of crazy how time is one of the wildest things that we don't get back, but we're blessed to
mm.
have it, and it
Amen.
really matters on you how you take it, man. Like my uncle always said,
Amen.
and this is a quote I always hit heavy is, we all got the same hours in a day. It depends how
Hello.
we use those hours.
Hello.
So
Hello.
yeah.
You heard Big Poppy? Hey, listen,
Amen.
that was said in my household as well by my elders.
Yes.
We got the
Yeah, and
same
it's
hours in the day. It depends on the
exactly.
difference is how it depends on how you use them. So yeah, so you go into this massage occupation.
Yep.
What was that journey like for you going again, being bravado? You've traveled the world, you've been deployed twice, you're in the best shape of your life, you got all the energy, you
Yes.
just got all that euphemism with you. And now you're about to go and do something that most macho men,
Don't do.
aren't.
No, 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 and it's one of those
Yeah.
things, man. Like, look, I was an infantry guy, so I still had leaders, jokes, all the stuff, like joking about the massage stuff, and I was like, man, I really wanted to get into this field to help people, heal them, like give
That's
back.
beautiful.
I had a goal to, maybe go to school for PT, like, become a physical
Mm,
therapist, that kind of stuff. And then I was going to school in Hawaii. I finished out my degree, all these things, and then
mm,
I was very lucky. It's so weird how it's like a crossroad in life. I
mhm,
had a buddy come to Hawaii that I had served with back in 2008. So at this time it was 2017. He was my
mm,
first roommate. Ricky Baker, this guy is a whiz. I don't know where he's at in life now, but I'm pretty sure he's doing some cool guy stuff now. But
Yeah.
he had went to a coding school at a DeVry, and he was in Hawaii just living there.
DeVry. I
And
remember DeVry.
yeah, so like it was like, hey, he hit me up. He's like, hey man, I just got to the island. I don't have a car, but there's a Hire Our Heroes event at Schofield Barracks. Do you mind going with me? I need a ride. I'll pay for gas. I was like, Ricky, you're not gonna pay for gas, man. I got you. He's like, he's like,
Mm,
but he's like, I know you're kind of in that path of you don't know what you want to do next. So throw on a nice shirt and come with me and let's just see. So we
mm.
drive up to Schofield. Um, I'm walking around, man. Like at that time, like I had already got my little degree under my belt. Um, I was
This
like,
was
okay,
your
well, I got
criminal justice degree, right?
no. So I had to shift to a business administrator degree. So at the point
Okay,
now, it's
gotcha.
funny how I was joking with people. I'm like, business degrees are kind of like, I hate to say this, but kind of like a
A
paperweight, man.
marketing
I love,
degree.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm happy that I have it, but it's one of those things where like I look at it now, I'm just like, I'm just happy that I can check off the block when it hits one of those requirements in a
Right.
in a job post. So
Mhm.
we go up there and everybody's there, man. Like Hewlett Packard's there, Amazon's there,
Right.
and like all these because they're recruiting heavy for post-military. So why not? Like you have
Ah,
you have all this like
it's like a job fair, I
mass,
guess, right?
yeah, like a massive job fair. So
Mm,
I walk past this booth, and this booth is like we're talk it shows the Microsoft logo and the Embry-Riddle logo. And I talked to the lady behind the thing and she's like, "Hey, this is our program. It's kind of like that zero to hero. It's not a boot camp,
mm,
but it's schooling. What you'll do is you'll
mm.
be able to get basically a college certificate from Embry-Riddle saying that you have completed these courses. We do everything cloud." At that point, I didn't know anything about cloud. I didn't know anything
And
about
what
it.
year we talking? What year we talking?
This is 2019. 2019.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
So this is
s-
right before pre-pandemic. Okay.
yes. So at this point we're in Hawaii. There's rumors of it. We don't really know what's about to happen.
Right.
And I remember she told me, she's like, you have to either get we have to get this prereq. It's a MTA 98366 network fundamentals. And I'm like,
Mm.
I'm like, okay, what
Ooh,
is
and
that?
she's
And
starting you off the right way,
so
baby.
she's like,
Right.
she's like, because of your college degree, it's helpful, but what you're gonna need, you need to pass this search so that you can go ahead and get a seat in the class. She's like, I will be honest with you, the seats fill up fast. So that kind
Mm.
of put a little bit of fire under my butt. I'm like, okay, let me like she like gave me all the steps. She was like, go to this Udemy website. There's
Yeah.
courses. Don't buy them full
Yeah.
cost. Buy them
Yeah.
on sale. Take that. You'll sign up through
There's a woman,
Pearson.
and this is a woman in the industry giving you pure, exact instruction and insight. And that's something I want a lot of women to be encouraged by. Like there
Yeah,
are women in this space who are like seriously successful tech engineers or tech pros, and they do mentor men as well. Like they give men a lot of help and guidance as well. So don't be deterred because you see so many men in this male dominated spaces. There's a lot of women here who are just as valuable as well as
heavy
Louise
hitters.
is telling us the story. Yeah,
Yes.
because most people
Listen,
don't
man.
talk about
No.
the crucialness of networking. So for her to give you that, she was really setting you up for a long term play.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
And I
because once you learn networking, you don't have to go back and relearn networking. It's one of those things,
exactly.
but it's in every part of tech. But yeah, sorry. Go
Yeah. No, no, no. So like she told me about the certification and I start studying it. I'm waking up in the morning when I'm doing dishes, I'm listening to this class.
ahead.
And I'm going to the gym, I'm listening to the class. If I'm going on, I was listening to it all
You
at
mean to
all
tell
times.
me you don't have time, but you're making time? Is that what you're telling me, Louis?
Man, it's one of those things
Hmm.
that if you really, really want it, you're gonna make it happen. Like, listen,
Hmm.
man, we live in a day and age of, like there's so many
Sure.
things that can take our focus off of our goals. And then at the end of the day, it's not the testing center. It's not the, oh, this came. No, like you can make time, you can make it happen. So
Hello.
I look, man, I signed up for the test. I was kind of nervous because at first I'm like, I was like, I can take tests. I didn't get it the first time. I didn't get it the second time. And at that point, I was like, okay, maybe this tech thing isn't for me. And
Mm-hmm.
it was right before Christmas, 2019. I remember it. I remember this wholeheartedly. I went
Look to
near
me back.
the Ala was testing center right by the mall, and I took it and I finally got it. So I called my friend
Hello.
and I'm like, I got
Hello.
it. Yeah, and she's like, well, there's your Christmas gift to yourself. Like I still laugh about it. And I remember hitting that teacher up. I'm like, hey, I got it, and can I get a seat? She's like, yeah. She's like, we'll get you going. And then 2020 hit. And when 2020 hit, you're right, pre-pandemic, the
Mm-hmm.
whole class was virtual. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember our teacher Mo Raki,
Hold
he
on, Louise,
did
hold
our
on.
yeah,
Hold on. I want to capitalize on that right there. Well, this was point before we move on to your story. You failed this exam not only once, not who's paying for this exam?
me out of pocket.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Sponsored by
yeah,
yourself, by the way. All right.
yeah, yeah,
Failed once, failed twice, was determined, still went, and for the third time, finally passed. Not only did he have the perseverance to stick through and commit to it and see it all the way through till he got his successful result, he went back to the instructor to thank her and show her his result of like, hey, you gave me some instructions to do. I went and completed it. Here's the success of me following that instruction. I bet her heart filled with God. She, even if they didn't have room in that class, she was gonna make room for you to
yeah.
get in
She was
that
gonna make it
class.
work. Yeah. Now I
Yeah, the,
still yeah. It's one of those things that like that schooling at the time when I was getting out of it, I was like, oh, I was very I didn't see the blessing that it was, man,
mm-hmm,
and how it gave me the path where I'm at. Because I was in Hawaii at the
man.
time, so a lot of my classmates, they were getting out of the service, they were leaving island,
Mm,
and the cool thing about the MSSA program, and I know they've shifted it a little bit now, and
hmm.
after this, I'll go back in the chat and I'm going to drop all these resources for folks to
For
look into
sure,
these programs,
for
but
sure.
they give you a chance to be mentored by Microsoft workers, by
Mm,
Microsoft folks that want to be in as a mentor for the program. Then on top of
mm.
that, they gave us an interview with Microsoft. So even if you didn't get it, you at least got to interview for Microsoft,
To
which
see what that technical process is like for the big boys.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. But like the thing is like the opportunity because I wanted to stay on island. It was a lot of like
Mhm.
data center. It was a lot of like you were having to
I
move
got you.
near the Microsoft. Like even
Yep,
though it was COVID, they were gonna put you
yep.
near a hub. And at the time, I couldn't budge. I wanted to stay on island, but I needed to make it work. But even now, the good benefit of that program is I have buddies that have gone on to work at Microsoft. I had a friend that
Hmm.
he had just worked at Hexagon for a few years and he
Hmm.
was doing cloud stuff and now he just got picked up um by Microsoft after like what 3 years of working at Hexagon
Wow.
as a cloud guy. So the path from that program to Microsoft can happen. But you know,
Hmm.
but okay, so within that program, this is when I started to look into the gov side. So
Mm.
I'm in the
Hold on. So where's
program.
this? Oh, Luis, I want to interrupt you one more time.
Yeah, yeah, go
I
ahead.
mean, I'm probably gonna interrupt you a few times, but
No, you're
because
good, man. You're good.
there's teaching lessons that I want the newbies and those who are in their junior level cloud tech roles who trying to excel beyond that, that they have to grasp that I don't want them to miss. There's the jewels I don't want them to miss. Who's telling you like yeah, you're getting instruction from the instructors on what to do exactly, but outside of the tech instruction, who's telling you to go this path? Like who is feeding you and where do you get this vigor from to be this ambitious on living on this island far away from your family? Like where does this machismo come from and where does this direction to just follow mark be a man and create your own path, man or woman, create your own path and where's this social ambition as I call it, where's this all coming from?
So, listen, the reason I'm back in Florida now, and I'm helping out my mom and all that kind of stuff, helping fix up the house, all that jazz.
Blessing,
But like
blessing.
yeah, yeah. So like the reason I stayed out in Hawaii post military, I was being stubborn, man. I wanted to make it work. Hawaii has to be one of the most expensive states you can live in. I know there's
Yes,
some
brother.
other states that like to be neck and neck, but it's kind of disgusting at the end of the day how expensive it is to live somewhere. But yeah, so
Yeah.
I had a really good network there. I had a good friends. I had friends that I would consider family. Like I had
Mm,
people that really looked out for me that if I needed to lay my head somewhere, they had me.
mm.
And but I wasn't gonna I
But
wanted
you
to make it
built
work.
all of that. Like you
Yeah,
still
yeah,
had
yeah.
to go and build these connect. Like what is that?
Exactly.
Where does that plug in your back come from? That because everybody, most people don't have that skill to follow my
Look for
intuition,
help.
follow my gut, make
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
connections, be friendly. Where's it coming from? Like
I don't
what's the
know, man.
driving factor?
I think the driving factor is that I I guess I'm being a good genuine person. If I'm a good genuine person, I'll meet another genuine person and give back. Like my thing is
Mm,
that like
contribution.
that's
Gotcha.
yeah, yeah, man. And that's why I am how aggressive I am on social media, on LinkedIn,
Mm.
on I'm even on Reddit, man. I'm on Reddit pages posting about jobs. Like people see
Creeping
my name
closer,
or
closer
tag
to the
and
dark web.
yeah, 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 and it's like so funny because like even on Reddit, they're like, "Are you a real person or are you like some fake like scam?" I'm like, "No, I'm a real person. Here's my LinkedIn. Like my name or tag is funny because I thought it would be funny to be on Reddit and
Oh,
have a funny tag." But I'm like, these are all
they are
opportunities.
so
Like,
pessimistic
yeah.
on Reddit, by the way, guys.
Oh my god, man, it's a whole different. That's a whole different monster. Like, and then I'm also on some like Discord chats, but like that's more for like the volunteering side of
Yeah,
the
for
communities
sure.
that I'm in. So it's like, but yeah, like I think what I've always kind of realized is that like post military, I can make my own path, man. Like I
Mm,
loved my time in the military. I love the people I
mm,
served with. I'm still able to give back to those guys, man. Some of the guys that I served with, like I always tell them, I'm like, when you get out, hit me up. I will
mm,
figure it out. I will make it work, man. Like, if you want to do this tech stuff, great. If you want to go work on windmills, I got a buddy of mine, Emilio. He got out and he was like, look, man, I don't know what I really want to do, but I just want to be out of the military. I'm like, okay, great. Let's
mm.
look into it. He ended up going to a program out in California. They used a little bit as GI Bill. He works on windmills now and cell phone towers. And I think he was installing solar panels last time I checked, but he's doing great for himself. Like
That's
there's so
awesome.
many great opportunities for guys and girls getting out of the service. So maybe that's one of the things I will say in this is don't be scared to get out if it's not making you happy anymore. Like don't get me
Mm,
wrong. If you want to stay in for the full 20 and get your retirement, chase it. Do what you need to do. But
mm,
also you got to look at your cross path. Like I looked at it at the time and realistically, I couldn't tell myself if I could have done it for another 11 years. Like I look at
mm,
the calendar right now at the bottom of my computer. I think I
mhm.
would still have another 4, maybe 3.5 years left in, but I know I wouldn't be as happy and chipper and as smiley as I am now. I wouldn't be in
Right,
cloud. I wouldn't be in tech as aggressive as
right,
I am now. Like
right.
everything happens for a reason. So it's one of those things
So
where I've been very fortunate.
let's. I want to ask you this question. Since we're going there, we're headed there in your story. What was your first? Oh my gosh, I'm a real tech pro moment. Like, what moment was that for you? What role were you in? How did you get into that role? But when did you really have that? You felt that you got that confirmation, that affirmation that oh my god, like no, I'm not just by title. No, like I'm really a tech professional. Like I know my stuff. People are coming to me for help. I know how to help them. I'm not shying away from tasks. Like,
Yeah.
the imposter syndrome is I'm managing it a lot better. When was that moment for you where you realized your first I'm a tech pro, I'm a real tech pro moment? What was that?
So I want to say it kind of came in waves. Like there's been moments where like I've been in like a learning environment where like I'm not really dealing with customers, I'm not dealing with account managers. My recent role right now, I feel this moment a lot. At times, I get kind of pushed into conversations and they're like, "Hey, this is our SME." And I'm just like, "Wait, who are you talking about? Are you talking about me?" Because like it's one of those moments where it's like, "Who else is in the room?" kind of thing. And but it came early on when I was working with the Marine Corps base in Hawaii. I had just gotten
Mhm.
out of the schooling. I had gotten my CompTIA Sec Plus. I just got word that my clearance came back good. Because I was worried about.
Nice. Oh, you cooking.
Yeah.
You got some
Oh man,
tools in
listen,
your backpack.
listen, man. I I made a mistake. I made a hiccup in life in 2016
Mhm.
that I thought was going to shift my life, but it didn't. Like
Got you.
I
Got
bounced
you.
back from that. That's why I talk to friends
Blessings.
now. Yeah, man, I talk to
Blessing.
people on when people come to me, they're like, "Oh, misdemeanor or this and that." I'm like, "Okay,
Mhm.
you're going to hire a really good lawyer. You're going to do these things. There are clearance lawyers that help you in the process to write up what
Mm,
happened, how much you've grown from the incident. I tell people I
mm,
was an FSO too, man. I wore so many hats in this game so far,
mm,
but I love it because I
mm.
can look at it and be like, look, I can pull from that experience and talk to people. I
Absolutely.
can give I can give excitement to folks of like, hey, your story's probably not as bad as you think it is. Still apply, still see what
Mm,
they say. Like
mm.
to just kind of like touch a little bit on the whole clearance thing. They look at the
Yeah.
whole person, not the one incident. So
Mhm.
a lot of people get so hung up on that and they're like, "Oh, I can never work in the government space because of this or
Wow.
that." It
Wow.
doesn't hurt to at least touch base with some professionals that might give you a clearer picture. That's something that I
That's a
wholeheartedly to
big,
me. Yeah.
yeah, no, this is a bigger issue than most people probably realize, who those who haven't tried to get a gov job or haven't tried to get a clearance. They don't really know what that nervousness and anxiety is like, knowing that you don't have a squeaky clean background,
Oh
but
man.
knowing that this job opportunity would change your life if you could just get past this clearance, but you are anxious out this world because you're like, dude, I might not. All this is out the window because I did some stuff when I was younger. I made some young and dumb mistakes. But yeah, you can
Yeah.
speak to that.
No, man, and it's one of those things too where like I hold a TSSCI right now, man, and I'm blessed because if you would have told 2016 me that,
Hello.
I would have been like, "There's no way, man." I
Come
would have been
on.
like, "There's there's there's no way like that's gonna happen for us." But here I am now, 2024. It's one of those things where I'm very
What,
very yeah.
what's the best path for somebody to take who does have some, as we say, smut on your background, but they're trying to get past and get that, security level clearance,
Yeah.
those higher level
So
clearances. What's some
I
advice,
would
some just general tips you have for them?
as corny as it sounds, man, I would say be as honest as you possibly can on that SF-86. I would say if you are close to the incident that happened in time, let more time pass from it, grow as a
Mm.
person, give back to your community, become a better version of yourself. I know it sounds like stuff, but
PR
like,
campaign?
and going right back to it, man, just hiring the right people that can come. Okay, are we back?
Yeah, yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, we was gone for a
Okay.
second,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you back. You was like
No.
you said going on a PR campaign, basically. Well, redeeming
Yeah.
yourself, give
Redeeming
yourself some
yourself.
space from the
My uncle
incident. Go ahead.
My uncle was a really good voice in my life, and he told me
Mm.
you have 10 years from that incident to change your life, and it's on you. And we're
Mm.
almost at 10 years now, man. So things have
All right, I'm back. I'm sorry about. Hey, tech is gonna tech regardless. I don't care how much you safeguard.
You're good, man. You're good.
Hey, but go ahead, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just had a really good team that helped me out, man. They helped write it all up, and I started off with a secret. I worked my I worked my butt off for a company called Avenue Tech out of Hawaii. They've shown nothing but love and support for who I am, and since that time, I've been able to still send them folks. I get a lot of my Hawaii folks that they'll hit me up out the blue, say, "Hey Sal, I got my CompTIA Sec Plus. You have anything for me?" And I have a
Mm.
contact. I immediately hit them up, and you know, I started off with my secret, and then that's when okay, so my life kind of. Let's answer this question. The Real
Right.
Tech Pro is when I was working with the Marine Corps and Marines were coming to me and I was working with them and they weren't looking at me as like, oh, this is ex-army guy, infantry guy, he doesn't know anything. Like I felt proud of my work, man. Like it was one
Mm.
of those that like every day I walked in, put my little phone in the cubby, you know this, like in your secured area, take your Apple Watch off,
Hello.
that kind of stuff. Like every day you're going into
Yep.
work, like I felt good with my team, man. The only reason I left is because my mom got hurt.
Mm.
And that's when I had to shift things. So I had to move from Hawaii to Florida basically overnight. I took a help desk position with SAIC Corps of Engineers, which was
Make those sacrifices. Yep.
very humbling because
Hmm.
it went from everything, man. It was tier one, man. You know this. Like, and it was very, very low level support. You're getting yelled at because the printer's not working in Alabama. And I'm like, okay, like,
Next,
so
password
you
resets.
exactly password resets, phone's locked out. Hey, I lost all my emails. What can I do off my phone? And you're working, you're working your tail off. And
Hmm.
so at that time, that's when the Azure position opened up, and I was very I had a really good friend. I made a friend off of a WGU Facebook chat or a Facebook group. I will say this:
Ah,
I'm not a WGU grad, but I found myself in a WGU cloud computing group, and somebody had posted about a
first
Azure.
you were in Reddit. Now you in WGU
Yeah,
Facebook.
no, man, I'm in all of them, man. I'll try to join UCMG, WGU, because I know that if I can post jobs in there, I can help somebody that is doing the schooling, getting the right certifications, setting them on their
Hmm.
paths, and just making that connection, man. Like, we're all adults here, man. It's one of those things that if I
Yeah.
have the right resources and a person needs that resource, I'm not gonna like hold on to that resource. What does that do me any good? If I have it and I can share it and help others, then
Sure. For
that's
sure.
what I want to do. So I'm in
Yeah.
WGU Facebook group. I see an Azure position, an Azure cloud consulting engineer role. And
Mm.
at that time I was like, I'm gonna just try. And it was a learning platform. Like, you were basically like hip to hip with cloud engineers, learning and growing. And I applied, I interviewed well, and I was so kind of like, I was nervous because it was a three-part interview. I know some people in this chat
And you
probably
never
have
had
been,
a you never had a
oh,
cloud tech role prior to this. Okay. Wow.
no, 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 no. So at
Okay.
this point, I've only been in support. I've been in
Gotcha.
base level S6. So kind of like
Hmm.
tier one to maybe even touching tier three, but not anything cloud related. So once I got into that role, I grew into it. I loved it. I loved the
Well, hold on.
team.
Tell them about the three interview process because I don't think
Ooh,
most people have been through that, especially I don't think most newbies have been through that. Entry level
okay.
junior cloud engineers you have, but I don't think most newbies have been through it. And so, but they need to hear what this process is like so they can be prepared for what they're about to encounter. Go ahead.
So first part was with the recruiter. Basically,
Mhm.
are you going to be good enough to sit in front of the panel, kind of thing. And then the second was the two managers from the teams. I got to sit in with them. I got to basically like like spitfire back and forth. But that was more of a
Technical round.
personal. Yeah, yeah. No, not the technical round yet. They kind of
Oh,
did it a
okay.
little bit different. So it was
Okay.
more like personal questions. How do you deal with customers?
Mm,
If this was to come up, how do you work in a team environment? That kind of stuff. They're feeling you out.
gotcha.
They're seeing if you can be a good fit for one,
Your team
learning with cloud
personality.
engineers. Exactly.
Mhm.
They're feeling your personality out. And
Mhm.
I will say this to people: soft skills, work on them. Work on them, work on them, work on them. Because how you talk to management, all those kind of things, that matters. Like, in the
I,
tech
I, I was
space,
listening.
yeah.
I was listening to a essay pod solutions art podcast today, and as much as they were talking about high level matters, technical matters, the part that they harped on most were the importance and significance of soft skills, especially the higher
Everything.
you rise within your tech career, the higher levels you rise, it's going to become more and more social. But the social component, even as a cloud engineer, even as an entry junior level cloud engineer, is crucial. Like they want to bring people in who are going to be learners, who are going to be self
Go Bears,
starters,
man. Hungry,
you know,
hungry.
hungry,
Yeah, yeah,
and be able to work with the team. So, like all those, for those of you who feel like you're just going to be like, you just want to be a hermit crab, and like I just want to do technical work and not be bothered by anybody. You don't want to deal. You're not going to. You don't. A cloud engineer role is not going to be fit for you. Then this
yeah.
cloud tech industry might not be best fit because you're going to have to You might not interact with a client, but you're going to be interacting with your team or the internal teams who you have to treat like a client. Go ahead.
Exactly. And that's the biggest thing that I learned in everything that I do now. How I interact with people, how I talk to people, how sometimes like how I have to kind of pull people on a Facebook chat. like, and explain to them, like, look, I'm not a recruiter. I do this out of the kindness of my heart. But if you're gonna talk to a recruiter, maybe it's just best that you kind of like go a little bit softer in how you approach things, because approach is everything. Like, that's life, man.
Mhm.
And so I was in that role, things were going great, and then I got offered to go work a PM role at a cyber company, and
Nice.
and it's one of those things where like I got so scared, man, because I was like, I want to do this cloud engineering thing, but let me just get by to see what comes of it. So I took at that point, that's when I started to volunteer. I was volunteering a lot at some B-sides events, some cyber groups, RiseCon up in Philly. I was able to do here, and that's what lined me up with that PM role. That PM role
Mm.
kind of set me into a path, and I'm still grateful for the opportunity that they gave me. And that's when I was able to find myself back at CDW. I took a step away from
Got you.
CDW.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but
Got you.
I
Okay.
left on good terms, man. That's something
Okay.
where that's just that military in me, man. Like, I always try to leave on the best. I always try
No,
to leave a
that's the
situation
social
better.
aspect.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
social aspect you talked about. Like that's it's important. Like developing relationships and healthy relationships is going to be crucial because especially in this industry because you don't know where you're going to end up in the next few years all the time,
who are you gonna
most
run
times.
into again, or who are you
Or
gonna run into
and
again?
like
Yeah,
chances are you're gonna run into somebody you
yeah,
never before, and it's either
yeah,
gonna be beneficial for you or it's gonna cost you. So if it's not gonna cost you anything to just leave on as peaceful terms as you possibly can,
of
just
course.
do that. Just do take the responsible choice. So let me ask you this: What
Yeah.
would you say? What was your first? Oh man, they're gonna fire me mistake. Like, what was
Uh,
the mistake that the most significant mistake you made where you was like, yeah, they're gonna get me up out of here. Somebody gonna tap me on the shoulder. HR gonna say, hey, let me come talk to you. What was that?
so
What was that first moment for you where you thought you were out of here?
I want to say it was probably in that Azure position, man, because like I just felt that I was getting like it's a very there's certain things you have to hit, and you're like in a sandbox environment a lot. They're not letting you be the cloud engineer. You're not driving. You're getting to sit next to the cloud engineers. You're getting to work with them. They're going to give you a
Mhm,
little bit of the projects to kind of put your hands into it. But
mhm,
I that's the time where I was just like, man, it wasn't panning out for me, man. Like, it just I felt like I was head above water or head below water kind of
mm,
concept. And that's
mm.
when I had to make that's when I took a step back. I was lucky enough to land into a PM role with the cyber company and grow with them. But I left
Okay.
on the best of terms, man. Like, I am back at CDW and very blessed to be back because I feel like how I
Sure.
left and I networked, man. And before I left, I was networking my butt off. I was like, who are these recruiters that
Mm.
I need to talk to make sure that I can possibly line something up with? If say something was to, open back up in time. And
And,
time
and
is everything,
that
man.
that and that's something I want the especially the newbies to know is that when you get into your first cloud engineering role, especially, they're they're not going to be relying on you to deploy to prod. Like you're not going to be the primary engineer that's deploying changes to prod.
There's
Most
tears to this
companies,
thing,
when
man.
there's
Yeah.
tears to this, man,
There'll be
and
tears to this.
you know, and so, but I'm glad you said one of the things like you get into those moments where like you feel like you can feel you can feel overwhelmed. You can feel like it's natural to feel that way. It's natural to feel like man, this is might be too far above my head. But even going through the interview process, because I know they were throwing, especially the technical round, which I think most newbies fear. Because it's like, oh, they're gonna hit me with a "I got you" question. They're gonna be like, oh man, you don't know what you're talking about. Get out of here. What are you trying to do? Why are you trying to get in the cloud?
Yeah.
Like
And
you
I
want to
got
say
something
something
for
different.
that. I got something for that. Yeah, yeah. So with my technical interview with the Azure one, I thought I failed it. Man, I thought I failed it. Like, I was stumbling on stuff. Like, the interviewer was kind of giving me those breadcrumbs to see what I was
Mhm.
gonna do with it, but he ended up going back and giving me some feedback. He's like, the reason I gave you the thumbs up and I think you're going to be good for this is the fact that you were still able to keep pushing on. You just didn't stop.
Beautiful.
He is like, you were able to figure it out, troubleshoot it, kind of go to the next level.
Mm,
He's like, you were kind of hitting the target a little bit open, but you were still close enough that you at least knew how to explain it, how to talk it, and how to kind of put that in. So for technical interviews, I tell folks all the time, look, man, you and I, we hit 2024, man. It's crazy to know how much AI can help us, how much
yeah.
there's so much free platforms, there's so much free stuff out there to learn. You can
Mm-hmm.
kind of easily YouTube interview questions for
Mm-hmm.
like and just study those. It might not be per like
Dude,
verbatim question, but if
dude.
in the interview you can kind of explain it or just say, hey, I might not know this, but I do know this, and be able to speak on it. That's the biggest thing, speaking on stuff that you've
Yes.
already have experience with, such as
There you go.
projects, your
Mm-hmm.
certifications.
Hold on. Did you say that?
Yeah,
Did you say the magic P word? Did you say projects?
projects, right?
You mean a
What?
person has to go out on their own and do projects to try to increase their skills
There is more to
outside
this
of
game
just
than
having
just
certifications?
listen, man, and
Mm.
and even myself, man. I've been in the game now for I want to say just 5 years. Every cert that I'm going for now has to make sense because I just don't want to be the alphabet chaser, man. Like I
Yo,
I don't want to be in the room with other
alphabet
techs,
chaser. I like that.
and I don't want to be in the room with other techs and they'll be like, yeah, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. But yeah, of course he has like 12 certifications. That's cool. But like I don't want that, man. Like I've met some techs, you've probably met them too, not have one certification under their belt, but man, they can do it with their eyes closed.
When they had a certification since 1998, and they are beasts. They are
And
beasts.
yes,
They know the hardware
everything.
under that. They know the cloud hardware itself. Yeah, like
Yes.
this will blow your mind. Absolutely. You know, skills.
And it's
You got like the search. As I always say, search will qualify you, but it's the skills that's going to actually. It's the projects that's actually going to give you the skills.
exactly.
So
And that's
do
and
those
that's what I tell
projects.
people all the time. Yeah, because like
Mhm.
you and I both dabbled in the gov space. We know
Yep.
gov
Yep.
space. If you see in all my posts,
Yep.
I'm not writing these posts. Like I'm literally sharing what the recruiters are giving me or what the hiring teams are giving me, and I'm just
Mhm.
putting them up there. I'm changing up the words because I wanted to sound like me, but
Yeah, for sure.
there's certain marks that you have to hit. Like
Mhm.
if you want to say go work at a high level position in the gov space, some of them are cool with just the CompTIA Tech Plus, but some of them need your CCNA. Some of them need the AZ
Yep.
104. I have a buddy of mine,
Yep.
man. His story is wild. He is out in the Middle East now. Still, he's making good money. He
Mhm.
got his CompTIA Tech Plus. I helped him line up with somebody, got his clearance. He started in Cherry Point, North Carolina, took his clearance, went overseas, got his AZ
Oh yeah,
104.
I already
I
know the
think
money
he's
good. When
yeah,
I
I
already
think
know
he's
when you
coming
say
back.
he's overseas, I was like, yeah, the money good,
Yeah,
and he got a
yeah.
set
So
plus. Yeah, the money good.
yeah, and AZ 104, and he's doing great, man. He's doing sysadmin work, man. I'm so happy to see his story because I was just a little piece in that, but he took and ran with it, man. That's
Mm,
literally for all the newbies in this. The biggest thing that I would say is just don't be scared of being uncomfortable for a little bit, man. I think so many people
amen.
want to be comfortable, and it's if you can kind of change your environment and change location for just a little bit, just to kind of get what you need to get ahead, do it, take it,
For sure.
So
So all
yeah,
right, so all right, so what we about to do now, and by the way, everybody following, my background gone, so y'all gonna deal with the green screen, and it's okay because we still here, baby. You know, we work through, baby. So get your questions ready. Put your questions in the chat because towards the end of this, we're gonna do the Q&A. So get your questions ready, and you know, when we get to the Q&A, I'm gonna show them bit by bit, and me and Luis gonna knock them out. But we about to play our game that I did it the last tech show. I think it did really well. I think people enjoyed it, and it's fun. It's a fun game. Now, what we're about to do with you, Luis, is we're about to put you in the tech director seat.
ooh,
All right. I
okay,
wish I got to start working on sound effects and stuff like that, and
yeah,
get
yeah,
all a cool, you know. But hey, work with me. We building up, and building. We work with me. So basically, how this game is gonna work is, I'm gonna give you some items, right? Um, I'm gonna give you about one, two, three, four, five. I got five items. And so for each subject, it's a subject, 5 subjects. Each subject, you're either going to tell me, you're going to give me a thumbs up in support of that. Like you, for example, like cheeseburgers. If you like cheeseburgers, a thumbs up meaning like you're going to say it's going to production, or you're going to give me of us a thumbs down, and you're going to say it's going to deployment if you don't like it. So if you like the idea, we're going to deploy it to prod. If you don't like the idea, we're going to send it back down to dev for them to
Yeah,
further work on this. All right, so you kind of get the gist. It's just
I get it.
production or development. Now, if you want to kind of expound your thoughts on it, you're welcome to that as well. But it's kind of just to break up the monotony and kind of just have some fun with this,
Of
as
course.
well as kind of talk highlight some popular subjects. So first one is gonna be good. First one, let me see, where is it? Boom, boom, boom. Okay, remember production or development. All right, and you can expound if you want, or not. We'll just move on to the next one. First one: college degrees in computer science.
Ooh,
Don't are we sending that to production, or are we sending that back down to development?
man, I don't want anybody to come after my head because
Mm,
I'll say because I've had this conversation with a lot of folks, and I
let's
think the
go. Let's.
biggest, yeah, I and it's one of the things where I had somebody literally try to fight me in a Facebook chat because
You sure it wasn't Reddit?
they, they no, no. It's just sometimes Reddit people are more humbling once they realize you're a real person and not fake. Um, but they try to tell me like, oh, but I got a degree. Why do I need a certification? I'm like, look, man, I help IT recruiters. Like I'm not a recruiter anymore. I work at CDW. That's my full-time gig. Like that pays my
Big
bills. I'm
boy.
good there. Like I'm doing this just
Hmm.
freelance, just trying to connect you with a recruiter. But I'm telling you, if you have a degree but you don't have the CompTIA Sec Plus or that
Hello.
baseline, they're not going to look at you. And I explain to them, I'm like, and I tell people all the time, they're like, oh, I'm studying. I'm like, I immediately hit them. Once you get your Sec Plus, hit me up and then I'll tell you what I have. Because I'm not, one of the things is that I'm very valuable is with people's time and I try to get back to
Hmm.
them as fast as I possibly can. Sometimes I'm
Hmm.
reading through Facebook messages and I'm like, I look back, I'm like, oh man, this person got back to me like 6 weeks ago. I apologize. I'm like, look, I'm so sorry. Like, I also have a life too. Like, and
Hmm.
I'm busy and I'm volunteer. I'm doing a lot. So this, I would say, man, it's so hard.
Talk to me.
Okay,
Talk to
better
me.
yet,
Come
I'll
on
say
now.
thumbs up. I will say thumbs up,
Okay.
and I will say
We're
thumbs up
going to production.
because, yeah, I would say production because, and hear me out. If you're going to do a college degree, don't put yourself in debt. Look into
Okay.
affordable college programs that are going to help you out. And this isn't a plug or nothing. I'm not affiliated with them. Best bang for your buck right now in the game right now is WGU. Get your college degree, get your certifications, and keep it moving. I know some people are going to say,
Hello.
no, I don't need 10 certifications. Listen,
Right.
just play the game and get your butt into a seat, and then you can do whatever after that. That's my hot take on
Man,
it.
listen, Luis, I'm gonna back you up on that.
Yeah,
Listen, and I want all the smoke that y'all gonna bring. But
yeah,
here's the thing: I have more students and mentees and people, newbies, freshers, whatever you want to call them, who have degrees and have the hardest time getting in even interviewed for tech roles because they don't have the skills because and I get on colleges about this all the
yeah,
time, especially if it's not an Ivy League school. They do a terrible job at prepping students for tech futures because it's more theory than it is application. And so they get out into these fields and these interviews and they don't know how to do anything because again they've never built anything. There's no emphasis on projects, there's no emphasis on using systems. It's all theory. Okay, well, go be a product manager somewhere. Try to, but it's like
yeah.
you
No, no,
got, yeah, the certs are going to qualify you because of business. You have to
yeah,
think of it like this: when a company or organization is bidding on a contract or they're trying to win a business, one of the pitches is that they make is that their engineers are industry certified. So what that means is that every engineer that they have on their team working on this project are going to have a industry certification, not a degree. All right. Now, not shame if you got a degree, the deed is good done. But going into
exactly.
heavy debt to go get a degree that's not going
Thank
to
you.
pay off more than this certification is, that's a fraction of the price and a fraction of the time.
Makes my man listen, man. It makes my eye twitch knowing how much people get into debt for
Oh
I'm not
my
trying to
God.
say a piece of paper, but, like, at the end of the day,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
if it
It
can't set you
take away.
up for the next step,
Hello.
then you really have to kinda weigh out your options here, like, you and I both know, man, there's
Beautiful.
people that could do projects, all this stuff. You can look at YouTube for a year and study this material and do it for free. You can
Dude,
go
it's too many.
free, free,
Travis
but you
Media.
have to do a little
Travis
bit, yeah, you
Media.
have
Go
to,
find him on YouTube.
yeah,
It's
so,
too many examples of that. All right, so
yeah.
next one. Dun-dun-dun. Production or deployment. Return to office full-time mandates. 5 days a week.
Let's say thumbs down, man. Like, why do we have to do that if we're in tech, man? Like, I have my mega desk. My mega desk is right here. I have my towers and I have my setup. My team is
Mhm.
up in Chicago. I can go in office in Tampa if I want, but I'm still hitting everything that they want. Like, listen, man, the fully remote role is very big adult responsibility. If you want to mess
Absolutely.
around and not get your stuff done, it will come to bite you in the butt. But if you can be responsible enough to be there when the customer needs you or be there when an AM needs you, or for me, an inside solution architect or a solution architect needs me, I'm there. Those kind of things is it's important. Like, but the whole return to office, man, we did so good for so many years. Like, why do we need to reinvent the wheel here?
Hello.
Like, if you're in tech, I feel that why do we need to be in office? You know,
Is the ser-
like
I'm gonna ask, is
yeah.
the server here in the office with us?
Yeah.
Is the server that was so oh, it's
Overall,
not. Oh.
yeah. Like I tell my team all the time, I'm like, look, if y'all need me to come up to Chicago, I got family up there. I'd love to see you guys. I would love to see partners, like that kind of stuff. But I mean, I think some people are pushing for it. Definitely in the GS space, man. I see the GS, like I'm in some GS Facebook groups, and these people are like, I think they just like to put those like post in for like bombs in the morning, so people just fight with each other in the comment section. I'm just look, if I'm a
No,
GS
that's gonna
sitting
be a
in the space
challenge.
that's fully
How
remote,
many
it's
how
gonna
how
be a
many
challenge,
groups
man.
did Louis how many groups did Louis say that he's in? That's the challenge for you all by the end of the
And
night. How
at
many
this
groups
point,
did
man,
he say?
I'm in so many. It's ridiculous. Like I'm always sharing stuff, man. I love helping people. So it's like that's like
You're doing a
I
great job, brother.
yeah, yeah, man.
You're doing a great job. All right, next one. You're gonna like this one, especially being a Gainesville boy. University of
Oh
Miami.
man. I hope
Need an
so.
hour
Oh,
in the
I truly
part-time.
hope so, man.
Is
I
this
hope
going to
so,
production
man.
or development?
It's going thumbs up, man. Like, look, I'm a Gators fan, and like we a lot of hype for next year. Everybody's already writing off. We're hyped for next year, but man,
Right.
I hope so, man. Hope so. Like that. Look, man, when they first came down and they beat the Gators in the first week, I have a friend that I play pickleball with. She was telling me the
Yeah.
tickets were like $1,000 seats, and I'm like, for what? To see
Wow.
the Gators get mud stomped? Like I told her the next day, I'm like, because it was alumni week, all this stuff, man. The Gator fans were going crazy, but Miami just
Oh god.
came to town,
Yeah,
man. Came to
they're too
town.
good this year. All
Yeah.
right, cool. All right. We got two more left. Next one. Top tier certifications. Production or development.
Uh, I mean, it depends on the person. Do they want the fancy stackable cert that CompTIA gives you? Great, go for it. But I'm I'm a gov guy, man. A plus. If somebody came to me and they're like, "Hey, I have A plus," and I'm trying to get them in the government contracting, I'll be like, "That's awesome. You have a really good baseline. You know how CompTIA is going to ask you the questions because it's a two-part exam, which is,
Yes,
come
it
on, man,
is.
come
And you
on,
got to pay
CompTIA.
separately.
Exactly, man. CompTIA, like, look, CompTIA got me for ITF plus, Net plus, Sec plus, and Cloud plus. And I'm like, every
Oh
three
yeah.
years, I'm like, let me make sure these things don't expire. I'll pay them their money, do their cert master, and keep it moving. But no, man, I, it depends on what path you want to go. Like, if you want to
Yeah.
go, like, if that is the requirement for a local position, sure, but shoot a little bit higher, get your Sec Plus, and then that will cover this. And at least your Sec Plus can open up more doors in the Gov space if that's the path you want to go. I know I've talked a lot about Gov, but
Yeah.
that's been my bread and butter for the last 5 years. So of course I'm going
Yeah.
to preach it. So
Hey, listen, and they better listen if they know what's best for them. And you listen
you
to
can
a
make
guy
good
that's
money in
been
the
a
Gov
very
space. Yeah, there's some
Shit.
influencers. I've been following you heavy. There's another one.
I appreciate it.
Am I
Yeah.
cool to name drop? Is that okay?
Okay. Like, we support
Okay.
all. Yeah, we need
All
all
right.
the
So
help we can get.
listen, man, Simone B, man, she's awesome, man. She does
Small
great
B.
stuff. I mean, bro, listen,
Yeah,
I dropped on her course because I was like, of course, I'm gonna support it, and I love seeing it,
for sure.
and
For
it
sure.
gives me tools that I can use in my next movement to help people, you know.
For
So
sure.
I mean,
For sure.
she
Shout out
speaks
to
it highly,
Simone,
man.
man.
Exactly.
Yeah,
She's a
she's
beast.
been championing Gov Tech roles. She's one of the
Yeah,
people that came and made a big splash online about that.
yeah. And I
Excuse
hate
me.
the people that try to
And
go after her in the comments. I'm like, what are we doing? I'm like, she's giving her time to help us, and people,
yeah, exactly.
come on.
And it's not
Yeah,
going to be for everybody. You know, it's not
of
going to
course
be
not.
everybody's cup of tea. But I tell you what, it's definitely going to help somebody who needs her advice and needs her direction
Exactly.
because they never knew this stuff existed. You know, they never knew these opportunities existed for them. So, no, shout out to Simone. We keep doing God's work. You're doing a great job, girl. Keep kicking butt. All right. Last one. I think you're gonna get a good chuckle out of this one.
Okay.
Here we go. Buying a luxury vehicle after you land your first six-figure role. Is this going to production or development?
Man, listen, my two little cars are paid off. They work. They give me to the gym.
Congrats.
I'm very frugal when it comes to that because I'm also fixing a house. I'm also investing
Mm.
in I'm
Oh, you're a
investing
wealth
in
building type of man.
I'm trying to, man,
Okay.
because it's one of those things where like
Okay.
I see how parts of my family have set themselves up for success, and I'm like, okay, if they can do it, I
Beautiful.
can do it. We're living in a time right
Beautiful,
now where
brother.
there's a boom of money that you can make
Mm-hmm.
off of
Mm-hmm.
your phone. You can make money off of all these little things. You know, you got to have that there's so much out there. So
Yeah.
it depends on the person, man. The way I look at a luxury vehicle is, can you also be on the other end when it breaks down? Can you be on the other end for insurance? Can you keep up with that payment? Um,
Shh.
say something happens with
Shh.
that first gig and things don't pan out. The repo guy's not going to care that you got fired or laid off, you know? So I look at it like that. I look at it
He
long
doesn't
term,
care about
man.
your
But
certifications, bro.
yeah, I'm a little bit, but the thing is, like, if you would have talked to if you would have given the same opportunities to like 20-year-old me, I think I would be like, oh, luxury all day. But now that I'm a little bit older, I'm just like, no, we're gonna be smart about it. So I'd say thumbs down, just because,
Okay.
like, just
Don't
because
send it back to
say
jail.
you were making 35 and now you make say 120, still live
Right.
like you were making 35 and invest that money for a year
Hello.
or two, and then you'll be set up. Just saying, it's just an idea, you know.
Hey.
Don't keep up with the
uh,
Joneses.
Hello, because hey,
Yeah.
you might end up finding out like, wow, I don't want to live like the Joneses. They over here doing terrible.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, you just
Everything
never knew what
looks
they were
pretty,
living
but
through.
nothing's right.
Exactly.
Right. All right. All right. So let's move on to this. So who is a colleague? And all right, so we're done with the game. Great
Oh,
game. Thanks for playing. Hey, cheers, the claps, production. All right. So who is a colleague in your space that stands out to you? Like who's somebody that's in your realm of tech, that you're doing, whether it be contracting, whether it be GRC, whether it be military tech, whether it be whatever. Who's in your colleague? And I know you follow many people, you support many
yeah.
people, but who's somebody that's doing the work, who's just standing out to you for some reason? Who is that person?
Man, I think this list, like, I don't think we'll have enough time to go down the list, but if I could hit heavy, I'm probably gonna hit, let me be quick with it then.
Yeah.
So Jai Salters runs Act Now Education. He's a very good platform guy. Like, um,
Who?
Jai Salters. He runs Act Now
Oh, Jack
Education.
Santos.
Yeah.
Okay. Acting now.
St.
Okay.
Jones, he runs cybersecurity beginner hub. He hits heavy with cryptocurrency resumes, helping people get into the GS space. I'm one of his moderators in his group, and I'm able to help and give back.
Cool.
I think another person that stands out to me is Andres Blandon. He runs Signal Jobs. He helped me and guided me from
Mm.
the beginning. Some of my classmates are in this chat right now. Sam, he was one of the guys that he helped me push through through the training when I wanted to quit, because I was just like, man, this isn't
Wow.
it for me. Like, I was done. I was like, I have my college degree. I can go back to massage. I can figure it out. But he was one of the
Right.
guys that pushed me on. Um, I think my leadership team at CDW right now is just phenomenal, man. CDW does,
Mm,
I would drop it, man. CDW does really great stuff to help build leaders, and it's
mm,
really good to see, man. Because it's like you walk into an environment every day and you're not stressed. That's what you should look
yeah.
for. Like I know that you and I both know this. Sometimes people chase the money in this game, but don't
Boy,
burn the
you're gonna
bridge
run it.
before you
Listen,
go chase them.
you're gonna
Yeah,
run into a wall every time you chase the bag. Chasing your bag or you go in this
exactly.
industry, you're gonna run into a
It's
wall.
good.
Or you're gonna be like, okay, wasn't a good idea.
I had a good friend tell me the money will come. Just be patient.
Oh,
And
baby.
yeah, and it's and
I tell people
I
all the
think
time the highest I've
yeah,
been compensated was not by a big fang company or even a gov company. The highest I've been compensated was by a trucking company.
really.
They
Okay.
paid me out of this. They took me to a, well, the IRS watching, but they took me up
Yeah.
through there. Was a trucking company. And it's all because I was patient and I took my time and I approached it the right way. And I just took advantage of the opportunity that came my way, even though at initial glance it didn't look like a great opportunity, but it ended up not only compensating me beautifully, but it ended up being one of the biggest technical influences on my resume, as well as confident wise influences in my career. Like it just
Yeah.
took me to the next level. So yeah, you never don't chase the money, don't chase the ego. It's going to come with time. You got to give yourself a chance for your blessings to come on when they're supposed to come when you're supposed to be meant to be able to handle them. So
No,
yeah, go
exactly.
ahead.
Hey, I think it's one of those things where it's like, look, man, I've been in Gainesville. I had to sit still for a little bit, but I've
Hmm.
been with my clearance, with my background, opportunities presented them have been presenting themselves. At any moment, there's been times where I've just wanted to pack my bags and go up to Virginia or DMV, make some big money, work some, you know, suit working roles and stuff. But then also I had to stay humble and pull it back. But to kind of hit this heavy, like some of the solution architects and the inside solution architects that I work with at CDW, like those ones that stand out heavily, like
Wow.
um I I think
Wow.
I think it's
If people want to know people probably don't know what CDW is. You might want to kind of tell them it's an actual
yeah, so
company. They keep saying,
CDW,
"What is
it's
CD?"
yeah, yeah. You'll see I'll drop like I said after this, I'll drop it all in the comments. CDW is
For
basically
sure.
a big tech hardware company out of Chicago. It's red and white logo. Once you see it, you'll be like, oh, I've seen that before. And it's been pretty cool because in this role that I'm in, I get to work with partners. I get to deal with you know, three-letter agencies. I get to work on the Fed side. I work state, local, and Fed side. So I'm very lucky
Wow.
to still be around the uniform, but not be around the uniform. And
Hmm.
my team, they work with me so well. Like I've been there for over a year, dude. This last year went like that at this role. That's how happy I've been. Like
That's awesome,
we
bro.
we just finished our yearly review submissions, and I went through and I'm like, wow, I've been busy this last year, and even my management has given me props for it. They're like, you went
Wow.
after
That's
it, you did all these things, and
yeah.
but it kind of goes back to like I had to do it myself. Like I'm not having a
Mm,
manager behind me in a fully remote role breathing down my neck. Yeah, they can
mm,
hit me up on Teams when they want, but I have to be accessible. I have to be there. Like I'm still learning. I'm still doing everything I can. Anytime I
mm,
can put myself into a conversation, that's
for
one of the
sure.
biggest things I tell folks. If you're in a role now and you're like, hey, I want to work cloud, I want to work cyber, I want to do this, if you're in a job, they have an ecosystem. So ask other managers, ask other teams, see if your company has what we have at CDW, which is a BRG, it's Better Resource Group. There's certain groups that they have that you go in and network. So there's a group for like LGBTQ, there's a group for Latin people, there's a group for
Hmm.
military, all those things like
Hmm.
those are the big groups that I'm a part of that I can hit heavy with and I can network with those organizations, like why
Yeah.
not? Like
Oh,
if you're already in a
somebody.
job, yeah.
I was just gonna say somebody. What number group is that for Louise? How many groups we at now? We gotta be at about 11. At about 11. Somebody tell me in the chat. But no,
Man,
what you're saying is beautiful because, like, I literally told we had a section of Tech at Night where I was giving advice specifically to help desk pros on what projects to take on to help take them, elevate them to cloud opportunities. if you're working in a help desk role or a traditional role, or even in a customer service support role, there's some type of resource within your organization for the most part that's interacting with the cloud environment or a cloud SaaS app or whatever. See if you can get a part of those projects, even if it's
Yes.
something that's non-company related. See if you can get involved on what's like. Go find the skill and experience that you're being required to have on your resume. When you don't have it on your resume, you go create it. You go out in the world and you find those opportunities. So, like you were saying about the cloud group that y'all have and the different ethnic groups that y'all have, the support groups that
People
support y'all wanting to develop your careers.
people are so quick to jump ship to find a new role that has that specific title that they want when they don't even realize
Hmm.
where they're at, might already have it and might have a network that your manager or your team or one of your workmates might have a connection there already. Like it's
Say it again. Say it
yeah,
again.
it's one of those things where like hitting on that, and then also I know that we didn't touch base on volunteering at cyber events, volunteering at these events that go around the US. There are
Yeah,
so many
please
events
touch it.
near
Go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, so it's like that's the one thing that I found with B-sides. I did B-sides
Mhm.
St. Pete, I did B-sides Tampa. I'm trying to do B-sides Chicago next year. Um, with that, I sprung over to Rice's Con. They are up in Philly. Like there's a B-sides everywhere that you can think of. So if that's the one golden token that I can tell folks is tonight, look up B-sides near me, and just see
Besides,
like,
B as in
yeah,
boy. Besides.
yeah. Yep.
Nice. Okay.
B as in boy, sides, SIDES. And it's
Wow.
one of those things where I tell folks, I'm like, volunteer. Don't get so suckered into, oh, I'm gonna buy a ticket to just go to the event and be there. No, 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 no. Go volunteer behind, be with the vendors, be with bumping shoulders with the right people. You're helping them set up, break down, you're talking to them. You're not just gonna be a face in the crowd. They're gonna remember like, oh yeah, that's the person that helped me set up my booth and talk to me and show me where to be. Be involved as much as you possibly can if you really want to take this
Man,
serious and take it to the next level, you know? Like
man,
it's on you. It's no one else is going to do
man.
this for you or do this work, you know? So,
All
and
right.
then you can
So
throw that on your resume. So that's another thing
facts,
too. Like you can, yeah. So
facts. Hello, hey, hey, you better stack that resume as much as you can with the relevant material.
exactly.
All right. So, all right. Last question before we get to cloud tech news, then Q&A, then we out of here. So again, if
Okay.
y'all got your questions, put them in the chat now, for Luis and myself. All right. So, and just kind of answer this next question as just be I know there's a lot to it, but kind of like just be as precise and efficient as you
First,
can so you don't distract them from exactly
yeah.
what this that your answer will be. So what's the fastest way a newbie could get to where you are today? If you had to do it all over again, if little Luis Jr. had to come and holler at you, he's 18 or 19 or they're 30 or
Yeah.
40 and they wanted to jumpstart their tech career and they want to get there as efficiently without all your hiccups, even though the hiccups do, they count,
Comes
they
with it.
matter.
Yeah, yeah, no, no,
What's
no.
the
It's
yeah, what's the fastest way to get to where you are today?
so fastest way I would say, and this is clean slate, 18, 30, 55, 60-year-old that wants to do this. Um, I would advise them work with your local staffing agencies to see, or your local community, or not community, your local county has money. There's pots of money everywhere that have certifications, schooling. There's grants out there. There's stuff that you don't have to go into your pocket. And I would say get your CompTIA Sec Plus, pack up your bags and go somewhere that most people don't want to be, like say Cherry Point, North Carolina, or the Arizona roles that I've shared over the last year that I think at this point I've helped place almost 20 people, if I'm not mistaken, since April.
Wow, that's
And
20 lives
20
you
people,
changed.
yeah, 20 people that have shifted their lives to be in Arizona for an opportunity across the US,
That's
like
beautiful,
since
brother.
April. And it's only continuing to grow. Like I joked with the people that I'm helping. I'm like, I want to help place 100 people with you guys. I don't care where. Just give me the roles. I'll get you the people. I'll feed it to the recruiters. I'll help out as much as I possibly can. So I would say get your CompTIA Plus, be very comfortable being uncomfortable for a little bit, and then after you can get some experience, hopefully a clearance, then where do you want to go? Do you want to go work overseas? Okay, great. Get your AZ 104 or whatever certification that the overseas contracts need, or maybe Cuba. Or, if
Mm,
you wanted to start working towards a remote role, there's a gentleman in this chat. His name's Mohammed. He has me and him. He was at SAIC. We just got a guy a job because the guy had posted on LinkedIn, and yep, that's him. Amazing guy. And there's a guy that things didn't work out for his skill bridge, and he
mhm.
was out of a job. He posted uh 3 4 weeks ago, said, "Hey, and is there any SAIT recruiters or anybody connected?" I tagged Muhammad. I was like, "Hey, let's go." We got him an interview. I think he starts on the 23rd. So
Wow.
the opportunity, and this was just me on LinkedIn clicking around, just seeing what's
Wow.
up, like that. Like I to kind of go back to that, like get your certs,
But they
be
have to
ready
put
to
themselves in that position to be prepared for the opportunity,
exactly,
that
exactly. I think a lot of folks that come into this game and listen, everybody wants the fully remote role. I get it.
mhm,
Who doesn't? But
mhm,
just know there are some fully remote roles for entry level, and it's not forever. It's not forever. Like
mhm,
get your
mhm.
experience, get something out of it and then maneuver, then
Hello.
start pushing for more, That's when you can start getting more.
That's beautiful advice, Louis. It's beautiful. All right, so we're gonna go cloud tech news. We got three news subject that I would love your take on, and then we're gonna do Q&A, and then get you up out of here so you can go back to the gym because I see you drinking your water. So I know you're on your health
Man,
kick.
I got a
It's all
session
good.
in the morning, man. I'm always staying hydrated, man. I'm
Oh,
trying.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, you're doing a great job, brother. All right, so just want to get your take on it. All right, so Um, and it's just immediate thoughts. You don't have to go too deep
Yeah.
on it, whatever. But I feel like you're a guy who studies the landscape enough to have some valuable
Yeah.
input. So basically, the Supreme Court agreed to hear. So TikTok is banned, and it's supposed
Yeah.
to the ban is supposed to kick in around January, and so this is their last appeal to try to reverse the ban. So they want to basically do a hearing with the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court agreed to hear their challenge to the federal law that could ban the app, which is owned by ByteDance, a Chinese company,
Yeah.
by January 19th. So basically, what are kind of your thoughts around the banning of TikTok and how things probably likely will play out with this appeal to the Supreme Court, this last plea that as a ditch effort that they're trying to make?
See, like this is a hard one for me because like it's just another platform that you can use it for good, but it's also can be bad for bad too. Like I think it's
Mhm.
how a lot of people are like, oh, it's ruining the youth and all that kind of stuff, and it's like no, but it's also a lot of good stuff too. But to me, it's just another app. I don't understand the whole up in arms because at the end of the day, we're still being tracked by so many other things too, man. Like it's just like let's be realistic,
Yeah, for
man.
sure.
Like your phones are doing some crazy stuff that if you don't really tap into it, like I'll be honest with you, man. The more I'm in tech, the more I realize I don't want anything in my house that can listen to me or hear me. Like I just want it to be like old style, man. Like
Listen, I
and
talk to my
and
wife
it's
about that all the time. I said that's very
yeah,
exact word. I said, dang, it's like the more into this tech I get, the more I'm like, I don't
you
want
want
a
to get
tech
away
house.
from it.
Like I don't want
Yeah.
a
No.
technology, my whole house,
A
and
smart house is
yeah,
terrifying,
smart
man.
house. Yeah,
Yeah, that's right. It's like it's funny, like it's there. It's in the movies, the Netflix movies, Hulu's, everything we watch now that's showing us how bad this can
that's
be if
crazy.
anything was to happen. And people are just like, yeah, let's dump all this money into electric vehicles. It's like no, but that also can go really
Right,
bad too.
dude.
It's like
If you knew
like if
how,
you think a
man,
cell
if you
phone tower gets knocked out, you don't think a car can get knocked out too? Like, come on, man. But it's just I don't know.
oh
It's
god,
one of those
yeah.
things. Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Let me see. We got another one. Just want to make sure. Muhammad said no Alexa.
Like yeah.
All right. So the next topic. So, all right. So basically,
Ooh.
over the past 2 years, so uh, basically, transfer knowledge. So basically, Google's new quantum processor Willow represents a major breakthrough capable of solving problems in minutes that would take classical supercomputers uh,
Yep.
septillions of years, basically like 30 years or more to solve this problem. They solved it in minutes, in 5 minutes. Willow addresses a quantum computing persistent reliability issues by exponentially reducing error rates as it scales. The innovation could finally push quantum computing from theoretical potential to practical application. So, what's your thoughts on just this quantum computing, the potential of it coming to market in the near future, and Google making really making headway with this Willow chip?
How can we invest in it? That's my take on it, man. Like, that's like, it's here, man.
When does
If
the
it's
IPO
already
come?
listen, man, like, if it's already being talked to in the news, it's been here for a minute. And it's one of those
Yeah,
things
for
where
sure.
it's like, I think with quantum computing, it's I don't wanna be like, some of my grandparents or, like, my parents that, like, were scared of tech or
Uh,
scared of things. Same thing with, like, the generation now scared of AI and stuff like that. It's just that's that's what my thought is too. How with Willow, how can it do it with crypto? How can it do it with so many other things too? Because you gotta think, man, like, in the right hands, of course, good, but it never falls in the right hands, man. But, like, how is it gonna be used? What can it not do, like that kind of stuff.
mm,
Like I think
for
that's
sure.
where it's going to be for a lot of folks listening or a lot of folks just studying this stuff. Run
Yeah, no,
towards
I'm with
this
you.
and study it. Don't be scared of it. Run towards it and study
Yeah,
it because you
study it.
need to have a good basis of this too. It's just
Yeah.
same thing with like I joked with somebody the other day. I was like, "Oh, I'm studying AI." They're like, "Oh, but it's you're way behind it." I'm like, "No, are you serious? Like AI's been around for a minute. Just because it's like has all the glitz and glamour
Right.
now,
Bells and
it's
whistles
been
now,
in
new
here for
software, right?
yeah, yeah. It's like
It's been here, been
it's
around
what
for
yeah,
like 40 plus years. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where it's like you can't be scared of it. You have to just
Hmm.
work with it. It's like
Hmm.
same thing with machine. People get so sucked in with AI, but they forget machine learning. Learning is the same level of understanding, the same importance in this
Sure.
game too. It's like if you're not setting yourself up for those tiers, like we said, there's so many tiers
Hmm.
to this.
Hmm.
You you're you're failing yourself. That's like doing all this and not understanding networking.
Oh,
Like, what are we
right.
doing? Networking is as much as people hate networking and they want to jump
Yeah, for
over it.
sure.
They're like, oh, I want to be a cloud. I want to do this,
Right.
or
Right.
like,
I
or
just want to deploy servers.
that's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Right.
There's so much, there's so many building blocks to this that the more you understand it all and kind of have like small bites into all of this stuff, you'll be
Yeah.
more better rounded in time. In time, and that's no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
It's gonna take
It's
some
gonna
time.
take
So
time.
just be patient.
It
Yeah, be
is.
patient.
Yeah, I would say that as long as you're willing to do the hard work and make peace with that, you'll be all
Yeah.
right because it's going to take the time. But again, as
I
long as you know it's all going to take work, the time come with it. Hey, you'll be
I
just
think
fine. But most people,
you shared something today that made me smile. You said something along the
what was
lines
that?
of like instead of just sitting on the couch and reading a book, go deploy it in an environment and see if it works. Break it. You have to break it.
Right,
There's sandboxes. Break it and then say,
for
okay, this
sure.
is as far as I
Yeah.
got. Why did I get
Yep.
here? And
Yep.
that's I've honestly, if we can maybe an off question, but the reason I got into tech and stuff and the way I like to tinker, man. Like I built a cold plunge. I
Mm,
do all these things at the house. I work with my hands, so
wow.
I put these pieces together. It's a big puzzle. So
Yeah.
tech is the same way. It's a big puzzle, and you're not in this one man island by yourself. You're gonna have a team. If you could work together in a team, that's why I preach to a lot of my military folks getting out. Tech is a great field because you're gonna be in a team. If you're gonna miss that purpose when when the uniform comes off. So find your purpose in tech, and you'll be just fine. So
No, for sure. No, but I'm with you 100%. I always say, you know what's crazy is that I probably had a handful of HVAC professionals come at me saying that they want to get into tech. And one of the things I always say um, is that like you can like you guys are some of the best equipped folks to actually pursue tech
oh
because
yeah,
you're able to understand you can break down big things, big pieces, big chunks of objects into small pieces and put it back together again and be able to part it out. Like that's working in tech, breaking down computer system, the structure of infrastructure, etc. And you're put like you're the logical approach that you have to problem solving will benefit you extremely well in this field. So I wish more mechanics and more people, more men who just work with their hands
Yeah.
would really be open to working with this technology and seeing how we can transform their careers. Because
Yeah.
it's construction companies like or who is it is it BlackRock. BlackRock's
Yeah.
hiring cloud engineers. You know, so
Yeah.
like you know, they you can work in tech and still be adjacent to construction or adjacent to HVAC or what have you. You know, so but yeah, working with your hands, you'll have a you'll have a you go in this way, bro, this way. You'll have a
Yeah.
you have the advantage. So I wish more of them did that, you know, and pursued that because they don't understand and see the opportunities that are
Of
there
course.
for them that matches their skill set and background. You know,
Yeah. I
so
think
I'm with you.
I think it's they don't see the opportunity that is there. I think that's the hard
Hmm.
part. I think it's that, you know, I've had so many people tell me about my path. They're like, "Oh, you got in at the right time." I'm like, I just took a gamble. I took a gamble on
Mm,
myself. I was like, I'm gonna have to figure
mm,
this out. Like,
for
but
sure.
I've had some good people along my path that pushed me along, great mentors. Mentorship is the most important thing in this game. Line yourself up with a
Hmm.
mentor. Line yourself up with your
Yes.
mentor. If I promise you, it's not. I know I'm a military vet myself, and there's so many veteran programs out there that help
Hmm.
with mentorship. But I promise you, if you're not military, it's okay. You don't need to
Yeah,
be
for sure.
military to find resources around you. Like,
Yeah.
and and don't go pay somebody,
And
please. Don't.
approach the mentor,
Yeah,
approach the mentors the right way, you know, and understand.
exactly.
As I said this at the end of every show about how to approach mentors, especially when I have guests on like yourself. You know, always you're better off. You're more you have a more advantageous position when you're approaching someone as to be a potential mentor with contribution first. You're coming for
Exactly.
help. Hey, how can I do this and that for you? Hey, I see you're doing this. You know, I doing this and that. I can help with da da da. Or hey, can I buy not? You know, hey, can I give you a Starbucks card and we can set up a call? Or hey, can I
Yeah.
even pay for your time or whatever? Like, come contributing
Yeah.
before you come to receive and take because like I always say, and even as Luisa said earlier in this call, like we have lives, goals, aspirations, dreams, and businesses to run too and stuff. So you have to kind of really try to make yourself stand out to want to be mentored or want to be helped or want to be assisted, etc. You got to put in the grunt work, as well. It can't be just an easy process of you wake up one day, I want to get in tech, let me message Louise, hey, what's the GRC? Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. So all
No,
right,
it's
all right,
but yeah.
go ahead. All right,
And
last
I was
one,
saying
last
like,
one, last one. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead, go
go ahead,
ahead,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead while I bring up the
No,
last one.
no. So with that, like you have to everything you're doing in this, you have to set plans. You have to set plans. Like I always call them safety nets. Like I've always had a safety net to another safety net. Like you have to be really, you know, efficient with your time and their time too. Like if they're gonna take some time
Sure,
to look after you, help you out, show up, show up. Don't don't
for
waste
sure.
their time because you might be in a position one
Dude,
day where you're a mentor yourself, and
exactly.
yeah,
And they are.
yeah,
And they are. They've been
yeah,
that's usually the process when they get on and they've done it long enough. One of the first things they always say is, well, I'm going to help as many people out and I'm not even going to charge y'all. I can do it for and then until they start finding out the cost of what it costs to
yeah.
really help so many people. And how they're going to find out that most of the people who come to them for free help aren't going to take any type of action and they're going to find themselves wasted. They've wasted time on dates. They wasted time going out. They wasted time
Yeah,
working out. They wasted
taken away
time
from their
like
family.
just
Yeah,
on you wasted time. You like the person that they're asking. You wasted so much time pouring into these people. Who you're trying to help for free or where have you, and they're not taking action. And then it's like it's going to leave you so discouraged and leave you so
yeah.
like, oh my god, this is just it's over. You're gonna be overwhelmed. So yeah, make the most of the time that you're getting from that person that you're trying to get mentorship to. But go ahead, I think you got to talk.
No, I was gonna say that sometimes when I'm in the Facebook and helping people, like I used to do Facebook's marketplace sales in Hawaii. So I understand how people shop on there, but it's the same way in tech. People will come up and be like, "Hey, is the job still available?" Yes, you need this. Radio silence. Hey, I have this, but I don't have that. Are they gonna? think I'm available? Like, no, but you need this. Like, it's in the job post. Like, if you're
No,
approaching somebody that's trying to help, just read the full post. Just make sure
telling you,
that you
man.
have what they're asking for, or at least
Yeah,
enough that you can maybe at least hit some of the marks and then, tailor your resume and get ready. And for the love of
sure.
God, please show up to the interview. Don't ghost the interview and then get mad that you get ghosted by a recruiter. Like, I know it goes both ways. Like, I,
Yeah,
I
for
was a
sure. It
recruiter at one
definitely does.
time and I got ghosted a lot.
Yeah,
There's times where I got busy and I forgot to respond to people.
yeah.
But if you're the person looking for the role, take that time serious too, because you know you might shoot yourself in the foot. Like, you don't want to do
Mhm.
that for an opportunity. You want to be able to always set yourself forward, in everything you're doing. So, but yeah, last question.
So last question. So we AT&T. I think we talked about this earlier, but if you had any extra thoughts about AT&T, basically they're going to start a mandate next year to have all of their employees return to office 5 days a week. What are your thoughts on that? AT&T joining the RTO rebellion.
Well, if there's any AT&T folks listening, hit me up because I can maybe find you a good, better role if AT&T is being that way. I just don't understand it, man. I don't get it. If the work is being done and people are happy, and it's helping folks, because there are more expenses in our day-to-day life that, I don't have little ones. I don't have to worry about childcare. I
Hmm.
don't have to worry about those
Hmm.
things. But even childcare is right now in our society is like a mortgage, so
Hmm.
it's one of those things where some people will argue like, oh, but you're supposed to be working and not taking care of your kids, that kind of jazz. It's like, yeah, but like the people that say that in the comment section, I just look at them, I'm just like, man, I don't even have the words for you. But if
Yeah,
AT&T
exactly.
wants to push
I
that,
do.
there's gonna be a
Right.
yeah, there's gonna be a lot of folks that are gonna
Hmm.
start looking at their opportunities for something else, Like
It's going to be some
the
of their
the
best talent.
exactly. And their best talent can
Spotify
go
did
into the
that. Spotify did
yeah,
that and started to see a lack in their app when they
yeah,
demanded the RTO. And that's going to happen company wide. Like it's just too much opportunity out here. Folks are
of
finding
course.
other ways to get paid, like to be have to mandate. And I think the most people don't understand the logic on having to go and work in the office 5 days a week to do the same exact thing they've done and perform the same exact way, if not better, than they were when they
Exactly.
were at home. So and I think folks, I think most folks compromise with the hybrid thing, but just doing full scale RTO, there's like, and they come to be looking forward to going to pizza parties and
Yeah.
sitting in traffic for hours.
We're in a
Like,
we're in a different time, man. We're in a different time. It's one of those
for
things where it's
sure.
like I think COVID and all this that shift gave a folks like a chance to kind of have a different outlook in work, and
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's really why I'm continuing to level up in what I'm doing in the tech space because why not? Like, I'm already here.
sure,
Like I said before, I'm
sure,
already in the role. I have
sure,
a ecosystem supporting what I want. Why wouldn't I continue to grow in it with management or mentors and all those kind of things and
sure.
continue to grow myself? Like, you don't just hit a pillar in this tech space and stop. If you do,
No, boy.
you'll get steamrolled. You'll get
Facts,
steamrolled. Like,
facts,
this is a
facts.
job where you always will continue to learn. Like, I don't know
Learning.
what influencers are saying and all that jazz, but you're always going to be learning something new in tech. And if you're not a continued learner, if you're not a self-starter, those kind of things,
Hmm.
gotta really, I guess, look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, do I really want this? Like, because it is a competitive field, but the rewards on the
Yeah.
other end are
Hello.
yeah. So
Hey, okay. Again, I'm sorry. I know you like,
yeah,
dang, does he got Tourette's or anything? But no, these just I watch a lot of movies growing up, and
yeah,
just things come on my mind. Anyway,
yeah.
all right. So Striff wants to know, is it okay to make custom projects, or should one do the templates that are out there? I think when it's referring to templates, I think they're referring to labs as well
Labs.
as projects that are already established on Medium. What are your thoughts on that?
The only thing that I would say to this is how strong are you already? If you're a brand new fresh, that's
Mhm.
like, how do I explain this? I would say do the templates first, get a good basis, understand why you're doing it, and then you can start building on your custom projects. But templates, being able to speak on it most hiring teams are gonna be like, okay, at least this person cares enough to do this on their off time. It's not just the kick down the road mindset that I have had with some gov contractors is, oh, I have my sec plus, but I'm not getting hits. Okay, but what more are we doing? How many, like, what else are we doing? Like, okay, great, you have your sec plus, or their like locations are very limited. It's like, look, man, I can't help you if you're in some rural area in Mississippi. Like, I'm
Help me help
may
you.
yeah, like help me, like how can we think outside the box and how can we, really break this down and get you where you need to go. But to really hit this on, I would do the templates until you become very efficient and you're using there's so much out there. So like TCM,
Sure.
they do some great work. Um, this is the holiday season, so some of these platforms have sales on their yearly
Mhm.
subscription. So I would jump on that. And then if you want to kind of look into some like flag chasing projects or flag
Mhm.
chasing environments with some teams, you can add that to your resume. I think it's either Homeland Security or CISA does a yearly like challenge that helps
Mhm.
with more like pen testing, but not to get ahead of myself,
Mhm.
more like cloud
Sure.
protection, that kind of stuff. You can work on that. Just do
Mhm.
the templates first and then do custom projects. I think having the templates, having a great understanding of what you're talking about, building that out, and explaining it in an interview when it gets to that point, then you're doing good. Custom projects would be cool and
For sure.
everything. Why
For
not?
sure.
But
For sure.
if you're just starting off, don't get way over your head trying to do a custom
I
project and
agree.
you're like, I don't even know what the heck I'm doing. So,
Right. I
uh,
agree.
crawl, walk, and
Wholeheartedly
run.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Call,
Yeah.
rock, one. Exactly.
Yep.
No, that's I couldn't even follow that up with anything. That's 100% on the dot. Um, let's see. Somebody else had a question. Joseph made the statement. Started my Raspberry Pi as a VPN gateway for my family. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Mohammed had a question. Entry level cloud cert from someone with zero IT experience but holding
Holding a
Poly.
poly. Woo!
Yeah,
Get them over to me.
that's a
Maybe I
big
can
boy.
help them
How'd you
out.
get that
Uh,
one?
uh, honestly, I mean, entry-level cloud cert. Okay,
Mhm.
so what I've seen so far in the game, I haven't really seen a lot of employers asking for the Cloud Plus CompTIA. Nothing against them. I hold this cert myself. It helped me stackable all my other certs. I would say go for the trio, man. You have AWS, you have Google, you have Azure. You have all those three that have really good pathways for you.
Absolutely.
I personally went the AZ900 before going AZ104 just to kind of get a basis of how
Nice,
Microsoft asks their questions.
nice.
Um, I
That's the
don't
Zoe
know.
admin, by the way, y'all.
Yeah, yeah, I don't
Mhm.
know AWS's pathways, so I don't want to slaughter their name, but I know you probably know better than me.
Yeah,
But
sure.
Google is turning the corner and they're doing
Yeah, they
great
are.
with their learning. They do a lot of great, like, not giveaways, but like their understanding and their like vocabulary. They're all about the same. They're all about the
Yeah,
same, like you're still doing the
yeah.
same thing. But I think with holding that poly, Mohammed, I would personally recommend that they get their Sec Plus first to get into a
Mhm,
gov space so that that poly
mhm.
doesn't go away. And then while they're in the role, they can start working towards an Azure certification cloud level or maybe like an AWS, depending on which route they want to go. Because the
Sure.
thing about, and this is something that I've preached to some people, and some people kind of roll their eyes at me when I say this, cloud is an entry and cybersecurity is an entry. Unless you know some people
Mhm.
and there's certain scenarios, but what I've seen so far is that you have to have a little bit of skin in the game to kind of get where you need
For
to
sure.
go. But that's not
No,
for
for
everybody. That's
sure.
not the perfect scenario for
I
everybody.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
If it's for you, accept it, receive it, use it.
of
If
course.
it's not for you, move on to the next one. But yeah, definitely that Google Cloud Engineer cert is definitely a great entry level cert because, and it's kind of mid tier cert as well. So associate level, it's a very
Right,
strong cert to
right,
have. Google, as I've said before, Google has the best cloud training platform. Just period. The portal on how to access their training material is great. Their labs even are like so realistic and just great. Um, Gives you a lot of real experience of what it would be like being in a cloud role, cloud engineer role. Of course, the AZ 900, especially if you're trying to go and get into Gov. But I like what you said earlier about like getting that Sec Plus and then getting into your first tech role, because what you want to do is work with the tech that's in front of you. If you're with a company
Exactly.
and they have a Azure environment, then start getting your Azure fundamental cert and then work up from there. If you're in an environment where companies using AWS cloud, interacting with AWS cloud for one of their storage buckets or whatever, start with AWS. Like, don't overcomplicate the process. I think that's what
Exactly.
a lot of freshers and newbies stall themselves by analysis paralysis. But don't overcome. They all work. You just have to make the commitment to make one work for you. But having that poly, that's strong. That's
Man,
that's like that's like 70% of the work
man.
right there.
That's the
You
second
know
I
what I
saw
mean?
Poly, I'm like, just get them in. Just get them in. Because
Hey, you hear
honestly,
me?
yeah, because like that Poly alone can get them into Amazon, get them into
For
Fang
sure.
easily. You know,
For
like
sure.
I remember I was sitting in one of the classes in Hawaii, Onward to Opportunity, another certification platform that they do great stuff. The gentleman that was there for Amazon's like, if anybody has a Poly here, I'll take you out on Amazon's dime to dinner so we can talk. Because they know they need those folks. Like just because you have a
For
clearance doesn't mean you
sure.
have to go straight into a gov space.
Yep.
Fang
Yep.
loves
Yep.
the clearance level folks too, but you already have
Yep.
to have it to even be considered. But though they might even
Fast.
upgrade you on the other end too. Like I had a buddy, he got in there with a CI poly, and I think they pushed
Yeah.
him up to full scope poly, and now he gets bonuses per year while he keeps it active,
And
just for
the thing
existing.
about
Yeah,
those polys and those top level secret credentials, clearances, like those type of things, they set you apart from majority of the population because most people just don't
yeah,
have them. They're
yeah,
very expensive to have your employees obtain, and so
yeah,
when you have them, you become a one on one. Like
yeah.
they're going to try to figure out a way for you to get to the
They'll
role.
figure it out. They'll figure it
So
out
yeah.
because when they're like you said earlier, when they're bidding on stuff, those are certain
Hmm.
times where they need to have a certain amount of folks. And honestly, like I saw it as an FSO at one time too, man. People losing their clearances over silly stuff. That's the one thing I can say. If you hold a clearance, don't jeopardize it for something so tiny,
Amen.
because
Amen.
it will come to bite you. So you just got to be careful.
Amen. All right, I think this is the last question. So, adults
Woo!
want to know what Reddit groups are you a part of?
Let me look real quick. Okay,
All
so
right,
for
yeah,
sure,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm a part of slash CompTIA because I post on there.
Nice.
I am so let me see. So I'm a part of veteran benefits. I tried to post jobs on there and they almost kicked me out. So I just was like, okay, I'll keep it. I'll keep it calm. Um, there is a group called slash veterans that I'm a part of. There's one that's called slash military FAQ,
Mm.
slash CompTIA, slash MSSA, because I'm a MSSA grad myself. I'm part of a slash IT career questions. Um, and then I'm also a part of slash security clearances because I try to help people on there as well. And that's really all that's coming to off that list right now. So,
Yeesh, that's a lot,
oh
man.
no, sorry, I'm
Jeez.
on. I have two. I have two different ones. My bad. Give me a second. The other
Yeah.
one. Sorry, guys. Yeah. So, um,
Don't tell me you got what's those accounts? Those are
a
throwaway
burner
accounts,
account.
burner
Yeah,
accounts.
throwaway account. Yeah, it's one of those where like kind of like joke and stuff like that. But I
Yeah,
jumped on there
yeah.
and I started posting on it. Yeah. Then I'm a part of clearance jobs slash clearance jobs. Um, and then just a lot of like cryptocurrency ones too, but nothing too crazy. And yeah, security clearance. Yeah, so like slash
Mm,
security clearance jobs, cleared roles, that's another one.
mm.
Veteran benefits. There's so many Reddit groups, don't get lost in the mundane in it, get in, get your resources and get out kind of thing. I
Amen.
think that and then for Facebook groups, man, I'm in a ton of Facebook groups just because I like to help people. So it's like that's something that when you kind of hit on earlier, the biggest takeaway for me and all this stuff is that as long as I can continue to help the community because it's needed,
Mm.
man. Like I don't
And it good.
understand. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like when I started all this a few years ago, I had a personal goal. I'm like, hey, and I have a whiteboard right here, and I wrote down names, and
Mm,
I've lost track. I've lost track of how many people
mm,
I've helped, and that's a blessing in
that's
itself because
beautiful.
that's where I know I'm doing
That's
good.
beautiful.
Like if I can, I'll get people that hit me up and they're like, "Hey, we talked a few months ago. We talked almost," and I'll look back through my our conversation,
Yeah,
and we had
yeah,
interacted like 2 years ago about CompTIA Sec Plus. They went and got it. They got their first role, or they're looking for a new job. That makes me happy because I'm able to give back, and I mean, why
yeah,
not?
man. You're
You know?
changing a lot of lives, man. Like that's the thing about this
Yeah,
beauty, the beauty of giving back and teaching and being an influencer in the spaces that you literally are a focal point in a person's lifespan where their grandchildren can look back and attribute the trajectory of the change and the growth and the treasure and the abundance that their family has enjoyed, all because you helped their great grandfather or their great grandmother. Like that's multi
exactly.
generational change effect that you're doing. So again, beautiful work. So I want to get us out of here because I told my wife I was going to leave right before
Yeah,
two
man, I don't
hours.
want to get you heat, man. I want
And
to get you in
and
trouble.
and so tell folks, just leave folks with a last statement of a last message you want to leave, and then tell folks how they can find you and the best way to get at you.
Yeah, for sure. Biggest takeaway is if you're in a position to help others, do it. I think that's, you know, it's free. It is free to put a friend or a person that's in help or a service member, or whatever the case, even doesn't have to be service member. If a person is trying to be in tech and you're in tech and you can help them out, give them the tools that you use to get to where you're at. That's the biggest thing. Pay it forward, because at one
Amen.
point you didn't get at one point someone took a gamble on you. So that's my biggest
Amen.
takeaway. After this, I'll jump on the chat and I'll drop my social media. But I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I love to connect. I would love to kind of share, my resources. I'm not the biggest on adding people on Facebook, but like
Mhm.
I will start to add. I'll be better about adding folks. But every 6 months, I try to make a post and I'm going to try to bring it over to LinkedIn. I make a post of Facebook
Mhm.
groups that I am heavily in
Nice.
and that I promote in,
Nice.
such as like
Nice.
Act Now Education, Signal Jobs, Veteran to
Amen.
Hire, Cybersecurity Beginner Hub, Veteran to Contract, and some other federal ones too. So whatever path you want to take
Nice.
in this, I might have an answer, but if I don't worry, I will find that answer because I'm very adamant on helping others. That's what fills my cup. And last note, get a good role, be happy with it, but don't forget to fill your cup. That's the one thing that I'm working on
Mm,
myself is fill your cup. Find the reason
mm.
why and just continue to get after it. So, yeah.
Man, here you are, ladies and gentlemen, the tech version of Tony Robbins himself, Louise, man. It's been a pleasure,
Yeah, I'm just
brother.
trying to
Thank
stay
you again for
positive, man.
joining us, man. No, dude, this is going to reach so many people. As much of your work is already doing, everybody's appreciating this. Continue to do what you do. Let me know how I can continue to support what you have going on. Please post in my group as well, B Cloud
Yeah, yeah,
Engineers,
yeah.
Black Cloud
Yeah,
Engineers group on Facebook as well. So I'll send you the links for those. But yeah, man, again, thanks again for joining us tonight. This is a way to close the year, man. Just want
yeah,
to say
man.
happy
Thank you.
holidays to your family, man, and thank you, man. So I'm gonna get you up out of here, man, because I gotta get up out of here. All right,
Yeah, man.
appreciate it,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. Let's call it, man. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. All right. All right, y'all. I'm about to get up out of here. That was Luis, man. He had an incredible message, incredible gems, man. Yeah, he has great input, man. Um, uh, Reach out to Luis, man. He's a resource of knowledge. He's a positive guy. He's always striving for himself, and he's also always striving to add value to the world and help others change their lives through these tech roles, tech opportunities, tech trainings. He's deep and knee deep with helping veterans. So join that, man. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this video on YouTube public for a whole day, to give y'all more time to watch the content, get what you need from it. And then I'm gonna move it to the member section by tomorrow. So if you're a member, you'll have this for you. If you're a member on our YouTube, you subscribe and became a member, you'll have this forever. Others who not a member, I'm going to encourage you to become a member because because we got more content like this. So again, I try to bring on guys who are qualified, guys and gals who are qualified, and giving you guys consistent different perspectives. And it's yeah, I hope you start to see the consistency in the messaging. I don't have any prep calls. I don't do any Q&As. I don't send people to Q&As before these calls or anything. Like we go straight off the top. But you start to hear a lot of the consistencies because it hints towards what the truth of the reality will be for your journey. So again, thank y'all very much. We do have our boot camp for beginners starting up at the beginning of the top of January. Sign up for that on our website, bcloudengineers.com. If you got questions, as always, you know how to reach me. Subscribe to the channel, share with a friend who needs this message. And thank you all for being engaged tonight. Thank you all for your energy tonight. And, I finished my drink. You know what I'm saying? So I hope y'all finished y'all, enjoyed y'all too. So good night. Blessings. Be great. Remember, as I always say, you had what it took the entire time. All right, yeah, I'm out.